Are you struggling to find time for language learning amidst your busy schedule? Well, in this video, I will share with you how you can combine your busy life with efficient language learning. Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I see Monvie. So let's get started. Integrate learning into your routine. If you really want to find time for learning this language, it has to become a part of your daily routine that you will do without even thinking. You can choose specific hours for learning every single day, and you will know that during this period of time you're learning a language. You can't do anything else. As for me, I learn 2 languages on a regular basis. So for example, I can spend 1.5 hours on Spanish and 1 hour on French. So I know that I can't do anything else and I'm more productive. I'm more focused on this learning. If I say that I learn my languages for several hours, it doesn't mean that you have to do the same. For sure, if you want and have such an opportunity to spend several hours daily on learning languages, you can do that. You will get results even faster, but here it already depends on how to spend these hours. Because you can just passively watch a video during 1.5 hours and after that you think that, oh, like I had such a great lesson, but in reality it was just passive listening. It's not learning now. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that if you spend less time, you will not get any result. You will get result in any case if you spend this time efficiently. Also, the most favorite thing is having these connections with languages that you learn every single day. It can be watching series, reading books, listening to music, consuming content in your target language. You can have several connections per one day or just one. The main thing that you have them. These connections will keep you in touch with a language. So you don't need to worry that if you will not learn this language today, by tomorrow you will forget everything and you will need to start from scratch. Because it's very easy to forget a language when you learn only when you want or only when you're motivated. As learning a language, it's so much information that you consume. So if you don't use it, if you don't revise, your brain will just think, okay, we don't use it, so I think that we don't need it. Bye-bye. And let's talk a bit more about these connections. For instance, in the morning, you can listen to a podcast in your target language. In the afternoon, read something, and in the evening, you can watch an episode of series that you are currently watching. By this, you will never forget a language. But also, you need to understand that only by connections, it's a bit complicated to learn a language, and it can take much more time, as you need to have learning sessions too, not daily, but still. You need to learn new vocab, new grammar, review all of these, construct sentences. Also, you can start completing your tasks in your target language. For instance, if you're looking for recipes to cook something for dinner, you can do that in your target language and find these recipes in this language. It's that simple. You just need to integrate this language as much as possible into your daily life. You will not even think that you have to learn because you will enjoy this process. Identify your learning style. Your learning style is the way how you learn something. For instance, some people remember information better by listening, some by reading, watching, etc. So you need to find your own way, and it doesn't mean that you will not use others. You will still use them, but you will be mainly focused on your way. Because for instance, if you understand better by reading, you need to listen as well to this language because you need to learn grammar, new vocab. So in this case, with learning languages, all the ways, they are important. You just choose what way is more comfortable for you. However, it always depends on your goal, because if you learn this language just because you want to watch series, you will be focused only on that and you don't need to read, probably to learn grammar. camera and all that stuff. You will just watch and just enjoy. The same thing with methods that you use in learning. You can't learn a language seriously just by watching series or listening to music. You need to find something that you like the most and spend more time on it, because it will motivate you to continue this learning process. But at the same time, you don't neglect other methods, because they are also very essential. Of course, if you don't have 20 methods, because in this situation it's kind of complicated. You will not be able to spend time on all of them even for 1 month. So why do you need to have that many methods? Choose 3 to 5 methods and combine them. It's the best strategy. And also it's great when these methods cover all the areas of learning a language: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. For instance, my favorite method of learning any language is watching series and videos. In other words, I'm more focused on this listening part. But even if I like it, I don't forget about other aspects, such as speaking and reading. I mix all of my methods daily, so this process is really enjoyable for me. It's not a hard labor, you know. Oh, I prefer to watch series and just to listen to this language, but now I need to read this article which I hate. No, of course not. I just find these topics that I'm interested in, so it's all about diversifying your learning. Don't just get stuck at one learning method that you're obsessed with, because it will not work. Use every moment. When you see that you have 3 minutes or an hour, instead of meaningless scrolling your TikTok, you can spend this time on improving your language. And it doesn't mean that if you don't spend the whole hour on a serious learning session, it doesn't make any sense, because it does. When I go for work, I put on my earphones and I can listen to Spanish, French, or English podcasts. I combine use with joy and save my time. Of course, by this, I'm not saying that you have to reduce your resting time just because you use every single moment for learning languages. No, for sure, you need to have this rest. But I'm talking about those situations when you had plans for something, but because of other plans, you couldn't do that and now you have this extra time. Or when you go somewhere, most unlikely that you'll be so relaxed just sitting in that bus with 30 other people and meditate. So you can use this perfect moment for improving your language. Just listen to music in this language, listen to a podcast, whatever you want. Create a learning plan. In order not to learn hectically random things and get no results, it's better to create a learning plan. This plan will include your goal in learning this language, your deadline, areas that you need to learn. With this plan, you will become more organized and you will not need to waste your time on searching new methods every single time. For instance, you need to learn Spanish for communication with other people because you want to move to Spain. So you're focused on speaking and comprehension skills. If you're too busy, you can have 3 learning sessions per week. If not, you can do that every single day. But for sure, it depends on your deadline. Now, resources for comprehension. You can listen to Spanish in videos on YouTube, movies, series, podcasts. Also, reading something as well will be very beneficial. For understanding most of the context, you need to expand your vocab. And as for speaking, you can read aloud to get used to your voice, improve your pronunciation by shadowing, and talk to yourself or other people online. Especially talking to other people in this language is very essential if you're going to visit this country, because you need to get used to this real conversation. If you will just talk to yourself all the time, you'll feel very uncomfortable talking to other people because it's just not the same thing. So don't focus only on talking to yourself. Talk to other people as well. Your current goal in a certain area of learning is that thing that will measure your progress, and you'll know that you completed it. For instance, you can set a goal to understand a certain types of videos and talk about this topic. For this, you will need to learn vocab from this topic. It's obvious. And in time, depending on your deadline, deadline, you will check yourself whether you have some progress or not. So a structured learning plan makes your learning more organized and effective. You know your goal and you don't waste your time on unnecessary things. Make learning fun. In order to spend time on learning a language, it has to be interesting, because you'll become bored already in a week of browsing grammar books. For example, what I mean by making learning fun. Apart from your learning sessions, you can add watching series, reading books, listening to music, or you can start doing hobbies in your target language. For example, if you work out, you can look for workout videos. If you like to play video games, you can look for gameplays and play overall in this language. Primarily, it can be hard to understand because you're not used to, but with time, you will start understanding more and more, and eventually, you will enjoy doing this. Monitor your progress. It's a very essential part, especially when you have other priorities, because if you will not see any result, you will give up on learning very fast. But for monitoring your progress, you need to have these signs that will measure your progress. In other words, you need to set certain goals. For example, the goal can be to learn 2 grammar tenses. Firstly, how will you measure that you learned them? And secondly, what's your deadline? Or another goal, to describe your day on paper by using phrases that you've learned recently. But don't set goals like understand everything, improve my pronunciation. They are not concrete and realistic at all. And the same goes to pronunciation, not just to improve it, but improve certain problematic sounds that you have. You can measure your progress by different things. If it's about speaking, you can record yourself. If you have a goal for grammar, you can do some exercises or tests to see your actual improvement. A deadline can be several days, a week, a month. It depends on your goal, and overall, it's up to you because it's your learning. Also, you can write your improvements somewhere, to your notes on your phone or just to your notebook. And if you see that you didn't complete a certain task, you can set time for it for the next week. By this, you see the whole picture of learning, because when you have a tutor, this person does that for you. But when you're learning on your own, you need to do that by yourself. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you soon in my next videos. Bye.